Shane Darke of the National Drug and Alcohol Research Centre. We've just released a major paper on cocaine-related death in Australia in the journal Addiction. Cocaine has been an increasingly major issue and a concern in this country and indeed around the world, with increased rates of cocaine use, accident emergency appearances and treatment seeking. It's clear there is more cocaine in Australia, and we're interested in looking at the trends across the period from 2000 to 2021. Now, what we found were there were 884 confirmed cases of cocaine-related death in this country. These were cases we knew absolutely for certain had cocaine on board at the time of death. Importantly, there was a major shift. The trend was quite flat until about 2012, and then suddenly there was this massive increase, and it increased on an average of 20% a year. So deaths were increasing by 20% each year on average. What you're seeing here is if more people use a drug and the drug has known harms, and in the case of cocaine, major cardiovascular effects, you will see more harm and you will see more deaths. What we saw that's also of major importance is that people using the drug and dying from the drug appeared to be changing. Whereas 20 years ago we would look at someone who had died of cocaine-related death, they are overwhelmingly likely to have known history of drug-related problems, been in treatment, and to be an injector of drugs. What we see now is that over half, or just approximately half of cases of death have no known previous history. The rate of injecting has declined dramatically. And what we're seeing is a broader footprint of a population of people who are dying, who are employed, no known history of use, and certainly no history of the use of injection of drugs and drugs such as heroin. Why were people dying? Well, the major cause in about 70% was what we just referred to as cocaine toxicity or acute drug toxicity. What we're talking about there are acute cardiovascular events, acute arrhythmias, or in some cases stroke, and there's can be sudden death and sudden collapse and death. I should also point out there are other issues that are probably worthy of note. One of the major ones being that there are a significant proportion of cases who died through traumatic accident. With cocaine, people are highly activated and highly confident and highly disinhibited. And what we saw is a large number of motor vehicle accidents and single vehicle accidents where the person was driving confidently, erratically and badly, something like 150 kilometres an hour, and they drive off the road and die. And I wanted to get that across because the tragedy of the deaths associated with cocaine is not solely related to toxicity, it's related to the activating effects of the drug as well. And finally, I'd just like to make reference to the toxicology. In something like half of cases we saw alcohol involved. And why is that relevant? People might think, well, alcohol and cocaine will uppers and downers, will balance each other out. That's not the case. When a person uses cocaine along with alcohol, it produces a new substance in the body called cocoethylene, which intensifies the toxic effects of cocaine and prolongs the effects of cocaine. So overall, what we have seen, and I think needs to be emphasised, because I believe that there's an image that cocaine is a relatively benign drug, is that it's not benign. It can kill and does kill. Not everyone who uses the drug will die, but there is a risk you will die, and we've got many cases of documented cases that people have died And of course, there'll be many more other medical events turning up at accident and emergency. And I would also like to emphasise that the effects that I've mentioned on heart occur regardless of the route of administration. It doesn't matter if you're injecting the drug or snorting the drug or smoking the drug, the effects are the same. So if one feels that I'm using a drug that I'm not, it's okay because I'm not injecting it. With a drug like this particular drug, that is not the case.